Ah, yes, Sabonis. Yes, this was a big one. Now, there's actually a lot more to this story. I had to turn on the 3 minutes, so buckle up. Of all the what ifs in basketball, the story of Arvydas Sabonis is one of the biggest ones. And not just for the Portland Trailblazers. I mean that for all of the NBA. I could probably do a whole YouTube segment on this, and I might in the future, but I'm going to try and do this in 3 minutes. Long story short, the discussions that we have today regarding the history of the NBA would not be the same had Arvydas Sabonis been allowed to play for the Portland Trailblazers when he was drafted in 1986. And I'll go as far as to say that Michael Jordan isn't considered the GOAT, let alone possibly a household name. Space Jam, probably not made. Air Jordans don't exist. Now, for the record, I'm not saying Arvydas Sabonis is better than Michael Jordan. But one of the things about Michael Jordan that makes him so special is the titles that he won. He wouldn't have those if Sabonis played for the Blazers in the 80s. Now, there's a lot of younger people on this app, so you probably aren't familiar with the Blazers roster in the 80s and the 90s. But this was their starting lineup. Now, at the center position, take out Kevin Duckworth and add in Nikola Jokic, the current NBA MVP. Now, take Jokic and add a bigger, stronger, faster version of him in Sabonis. If we had the scouting we have today in Europe, he would have been unequivocally the number 1 overall pick the moment he was available. But wait, if he was that good, why wasn't he allowed to come and play until the mid-90s? Fantastic question, and now I get to employ my other college degree. I have a history degree. And the short answer to that is the Iron Curtain. Now, I don't want this video to become a history lesson of the USSR, so here's the short version. During Soviet Union times, there was not a lot of communication going on with the Soviet Union and other non-communist countries outside, particularly those in the West. An example of this is actually Sabonis himself. Back in 1984, he was actually drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. Sabonis didn't even know this until after he was drafted by the Blazers 2 years later. There were some other reasons involved in this, but the end result was that Sabonis wasn't able to come play for the Blazers until the mid-90s, when he was 30 years old and the shell of his former self. And he was still Rookie of the Year and made all first-team rookie. And regardless of age and injury history, he was still one of the few centers that could go toe-to-toe with Shaquille O'Neal in his prime. It was a nightmare to defend because Shaq had to go out on the perimeter. He was the same size and taller than Shaq, albeit much slower. But I say this to emphasize how good he was and what could have been. Bill Walton referred to him as a 7'3" Larry Bird. He was one of Kevin Garnett's favorite players ever. Clyde Drexler believes the Blazers could have won multiple titles in a row had Sabonis have been there in 86 and on. Sabonis was so dominant that one of the reasons this team ever existed was to stop this guy right here. The point is, if you put this guy and put him on this team, a handful of these titles are up in the rafters in the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to this than I can cover in a 3-minute video, but this is unequivocally my biggest what if in sports.